In this video, we're going to talk about 5 good and 5 bad things about El Salvador. Now, this is just my opinion on my take on it. I've been here almost 6 months and sort of the boots on the ground experience, I guess. And there's more to see, and there's more experiences than what I've had so far. But just to sort of give you an initial sort of feel I have for the country on the positive and also the negative aspects, I got to be real with it. And we're going to start with the 5 things that El Salvador definitely needs to work on, in my opinion. And we'll start at 5 and go up to number 1. Okay, the banks. I thought it'd be a really good idea to go and open just a small local checking account, to have some local ties with the community, maybe to make things easier on some of the purchases, because my credit card is from the United States and every once in a while there is an issue and we have to work on it, and it is a pain in the rear end. So I went to the banks, and they're big banks down here, just like back home in the States. So I went to 2 banks. Each bank wanted to know exactly how much money I would put in every month, how much I would spend on expenses, and if there was any leftover money. They were very, very concerned about why I had leftover money or what it was going for. And I think from talking to some of the other people, they had an issue with money laundering over the years, and they still have not recovered from that, I guess. And so it makes it very, very hard for the local Joe or the local Juan to walk in and just start a little basic checking account, because I wasn't sure how much money I would put in there every month. Hopefully they're going to evolve a little bit and turn that around and make it better. Number 4 on our list of things they could improve on: roads. And I've said this before on some of the videos when I'm going somewhere, especially around San Salvador, the capital. It is terrible, like at the start of the business day or the end of the business day. Traffic is backed up. The roundabouts, there's like 3 lanes, and there's not like 3 or 4 little exits. There's some of those roundabouts have like 5 exits to get off of them or whatever. So there's a lot of traffic. I mean, there's a lot of buses too, so a lot of people do utilize the bus system, the public transportation, but it is just crazy. It's crazy. And they are working on it. I mean, just coming from San Salvador out, they've got a new overpass type deal that they've just installed, and it's not completed yet, but they've got 1 lane open, and that does help. There's lots of stuff that needs to be worked on, though, for sure. Once you get outside the capital, they've got some of the major highways are good, or even better than some of the stuff I saw back home. And so that's a good thing. But every once in a while, when you get into a smaller town or one of the off-roads, you run into the potholes or the really poor road conditions. I don't know what they're going to do as far as like the main part in the city. That city has grown so much, there's no room for them really to expand the roads. So it'd be a costly and a very intrusive endeavor to revamp all the roads there in San Salvador to make it where it would flow better. It would cause a lot of problems, and I don't know if they're ready to do that. I just don't know. They do work on roads, and that's a good thing. But yeah, you got what you got. Okay, number 3 on the Let's Do Better El Salvador list is the gangs and police. Now, when I moved to Jefferson City, Missouri, 5 or 6 years ago, I was amazed at the amount of different police agencies there in that city. I mean, there was all different types. But it's a capital city, so a lot of their headquarters are based there in Jefferson City, and so that's why you saw so much. Now here in San Salvador, El Salvador, they've been fighting gangs for quite a while. And it's been a hard deal. I have no doubt at all. And just after I moved here in February. In March, I think 25th through the 27th, there were 87 murders on one weekend. And it's a terrible thing, scary thing. and immediately the government issued a state of emergency. And basically that's like sort of martial law from my take on it. And so that amped up the number of police that are out there. Also the military's out there on checkpoints and everything else. Also the transportation police are out there, and they do a lot of traffic stops. And I don't know, I don't feel great about traffic stops just in general, just to stop people. But anyway, they are working on improving it, and I think they have. They've knocked down a bunch of the criminals and the gang element, made quite a few arrests, and hopefully made some progress in that. But they have extended the state of emergency power 4 times since it started. So I'm sure that the people of El Salvador appreciate being safer, feeling safer, and all of that. But hopefully they're going to lessen that and maybe let it go and get back to where the police are at normal level. I don't know. I've never had a problem going out and running around here, and some of the small towns, even at night or whatever, I've never felt threatened or that anything could possibly bad happen, but I always try to watch anyway. Okay, number 2 on the Let's Do Better El Salvador list, and that is trash. The generation I grew up in, we had Woodsy Al saying, give a hoot, don't pollute, recycle, all that. And that was great. A lot of people did it and continue to do it to today. And I'm the same way, I do. But down here, the era that these people mostly grew up in, everything that they bought from the store, whether it be food or whatever, was wrapped in like maybe corn leaves or husks and, plant-based stuff. And so it was biodegradable. You could throw it away and it goes back to earth, does its job, good to go. But now with all the plastics, metal, just everything, it's not. And the mentality is still there for a lot of people, unfortunately, seems to be to just discard it. Now there are a lot of people that do keep their places looking great, clean, picked up, and everything. But it still happens. It still happens. And talking with other people, I think what's going to happen is education in the school system and in the public, with even the adults. Say, hey, we've got a beautiful country here. Let's work together. Don't throw it in the street. Don't throw it on the side of the road. Put it in a trash can. Put it in a bag. Throw it in the trash. And hopefully will get better, because it is quite beautiful. Okay, number 1 is poverty. And poverty in El Salvador from 2000 to 2020, the GDP only went above or right at 3% twice during that time. And so basically their economy is not doing great, and it could do better. And they are on the positive side. When I talk about the positive, they are doing some things over there to turn this around. But right now, the average salary per month is $430 and all the way up to $7,000 something a month. So there's a big gap right there. And the people there at the $400 range, it's got to be very difficult to make ends meet. And so they're always trying to work and make some extra money, and very, very tough people. Okay, now we're on to the positive side. Number 5 on the El Salvador is doing good list is they're becoming a major tourist draw. Now, I don't know if you watch the news or not, but we've had international surfing competitions just up the road at El Tunco for seniors and juniors. We interviewed one of the junior surfing competitors in one of the videos. It's bringing in people from all over the place, and that tourism brings in money, and hopefully the money finds its way into the street markets and all these people that go out there and work so hard. Also, they adopted the Bitcoin. Now, we just did a video on Bitcoin, and you can look that one up and see what you think on it. But it's another avenue that they're pursuing to open it up to a worldwide market. They accept the dollar, that's their currency that they use now, but they also accept Bitcoin. So they're trying to expand and try to draw in more people. They're also working on improving a tainted public safety image. And, you know, like when I told people I was going to El Salvador, they said, isn't that like the murder capital of the world or something? And I'm thinking, well, I don't know. I thought Kansas City maybe was, but I don't know. Anyway, they're working on that. And like I said in the other section of this video, the state of emergency that they implemented has yielded really good results from everything that I've seen and from what I've been told. So hopefully they're improving that, and that'll make people feel more safe to come down here and to explore, take tours, learn how to surf, check out volcanoes, you know, all that. Another thing they've got going for them, and this is still in the 5 deal, is coffee. I've had 2 different people that I've dealt with while I've been down here that their families are involved in the coffee industry. They grow it, manufacture it, sell it, and they earn money from it. And it's sold here locally, internationally. So that's all positive things right there related to tourism and positive PR that El Salvador is doing. Okay, number 4 on our positive things for El Salvador is food. Variety is the spice of life. Yeah, I remember that. And it is. And El Salvador has got it. They've got El Salvadorian food, pupusas. They've got Italian food, Mexican food, Thai food. All the U.S. chains just about, I think, are down here that can be. So there is a variety of food for whatever kind of foodie you are. The chances are you're going to be able to find it. Now, if you're out away from the main city a ways, your options sort of get, you know, knocked down a little bit. But lots of good food, and like on the pupusas, I went out one night when I was living in Antigua, Cuscatlan, and had like 4 pupusas and a Coke or pop for dinner, and it was under $5, and I was filled up. And the pupusas they're either maize or they're rice, corn or rice. And I had corn, and I had them stuffed with pork and beans, and then you could put cheese in it. You could put some other things in it, but I mean, it filled me up, and it was under $5. And so that was a meal you could take your family out, if you're an El Salvadorian family, and eat relatively good, inexpensively. Because I remember, like when we grew up, me and my sister, Mom and Dad would take us to the A&W drive-in, the root beer place in Fort Smith. And it was, I mean, it wasn't anything really super special, but it was a night out for us where we could get out of the house and just see some different stuff. And of course, yeah, we remember the frosty mugs and all that, and that's just something pretty cool. But yeah, food, they got it covered down here. Okay, number 3 on the good list, festivals and events. They've got 10 like holidays here in El Salvador. Plus they have 18 events, festivals. You put them together and you got 28 events throughout the whole calendar year. Somebody somewhere is celebrating something, and which that's great. I just went to the fair last night in San Salvador. Got to experience an El Salvadorian huge fair, and it was crazy packed. It was something else. They also have Father's Day as a national holiday. I mean, Mom gets a Mom's Day too, but the dads, the country gets to take a day off for Dad and Mom. But I thought that was pretty neat. Instead of just having that Sunday where you're just sort of, hey, I love you, Dad. This is like, hey, take the day off, Dad. Now, how cool is that? Okay, now this is the number two item for doing El Salvador right, and it is 45 beaches along the Pacific coast, 300 kilometers of beach coastline. Imagine that. This morning I walked on two beaches less than 2 miles apart. Now El Salvador is called the land of volcanoes, and rightly so. There are 23 active volcanoes here in El Salvador. This is the smallest country in Central America with 23 active volcanoes. The last one erupted in 2013. So, give you something to think about. I also have felt, I know, one earthquake or a tremor while I was down here since I've been living here. And it was an interesting experience. It wasn't anything like stuff falling off the walls or anything like that, but it was something. I could feel some stuff starting to move. Okay, it's got 2 major mountain ranges, and it's got 4 main lakes. So this gives you a variety. We were talking about being diverse. It gives you a variety of things that you can look at. You can go, like they say, have breakfast at the volcano, have lunch at the city, and then in the evening you're at the beach drinking a beverage. Yeah, all within one day. The number one thing El Salvador should be very proud of, in my opinion, is its people. The people I've met here have been very kind, heartwarming, gentle, giving people. I mean, I was talking with someone today and they said that, yeah, their dad taught them how to change a tire when they were a kid, but she said, I've never had to change a tire because if I ever pulled over on the side of the road and getting ready to do it, somebody always pulls up and asks if they can help and to do that for them. And so that's a very good feeling right there, to know that the community will help each other, and that's something that all countries really definitely need. All right, now that was my top 5 and 5 list, and I talked to 5 different people, El Salvadorians, and I'll tell you some of theirs, and this is in no particular order or anything like that. Things they could improve on as a country: the economy, education, and this one lady, she had a very good response, improving herself. And I think that takes a good deal of insight to look and say, hey, I can make myself better, smarter. It'll make me worth more as a person, as a Salvadorian, and then maybe I can make more money too by doing that. So that's a very positive thing, and that's stuff that she could, they said they could work on to make better. But the main thing they talked about when they said, what's the best thing about El Salvador, is the diverse landscape. Just like what we were saying, volcanoes, lakes, the ocean, all these beaches, 45 beaches, they've got it covered. 45 beaches, it's just amazing. You know, I've been to like 4, I think, so far, maybe 5, but yeah, there's a bunch out there. And yeah, they were all, I mean, they were all pretty happy with it, and they said security, they'd like to see security a little bit better. So it does take a while to get everything going on the same page, but I really do enjoy El Salvador. My time here, like I said, it's almost 6 months. Met some good people, got to see some beautiful sights and experience some new things. And so, you know, if you're ever feeling like you're going to get into a rut or whatever, step outside your comfort zone, which is basically what I did, and try something new, try something different. And like I said when I started this might last 6 months, it might last a year, who knows. But I am enjoying it, I'm having a great time, and I really enjoyed the likes and the comments that you guys put on the page. So, hey, thanks so much, and I'll see you later.